G'day battlers, and today we are jumping in for quite possibly the most stacked Nemesis Cup tournament of all time. This is absolutely ridiculous. So, Richie1409 here is going into a 7-round tournament. Richie is the number 23 in the world after this tournament, and in these 7 rounds, we're going to see him face up against 4 of the top 14 in the world, including the current number 1 in the world. So this is going to be an absolutely stacked tournament. There are going to be some high skilled battles coming in through this video, so definitely stay tuned because it is definitely going to be a lot of fun and I am looking forward to it. Hopefully you're as excited as I am as well. Before we jump into it though, you can skip straight to the battles if you want to. The timestamp is going to be in the progress bar down below. First off, I do just want to say, first of all, that I will be doing one of the factions, Silph Arena factions quarter-final streams this coming Tuesday for most of you in the Northern Hemisphere. It'll be early Wednesday morning for us APACers. And then also I'll be doing the Silph Arena Showdown that following weekend. So lots still going on this channel, so subscribe if you haven't already, because plenty of Silph goodness going on. But yeah, let's jump into it and take a look at Richie1409 going into this absolutely ridiculous tournament. So first off, we'll take a look at his team. So we've got a Shadow Polyrath, we can see there over in the bottom right, with also Dedenne as the anti-fighter. And then packing in bodyguards of Walrein, Zweilous, Roserade, and Ferrothorn. So Walrein is a Pokemon that is being really widely used, so I don't think anyone who's played like a practice tournament is going to be too surprised to see Walrein. Polyrath was probably like the most prominent fighter at the start of the meta. Sort of fell off from what I've been seeing, but we're going to see Richie come back and bring the Polyrath to show that it can still do a really nice job. And we've also got the opponent is also running Polyrath, so we'll see how that goes. Dedenne is also probably one of the most favored anti-fighters in this meta. It's doing really well. It gets to those charge moves pretty fast. It's spammy. It's got a little bit of bulk to it, so it can definitely do a fair bit of damage. And we'll see how it goes through this tournament as well. It's Zweilous. Also, you know, it's Dragon Breath, it's neutral damage, it's definitely a solid Pokemon that everyone would love to have on the team, just because Dragon is always nice to have. There isn't much in this meta that is going to resist Dragon. There's only like 2 Fairy types in the entire meta, and there's only a couple Steel types running around as well, so Zweilous can definitely be a really nice sort of, maybe not so much a safe swap, but it can definitely do a lot of work for you, for sure. Roserade has access to that really spammy Fire Weather Ball and can do a lot of damage against a lot of those sort of grassy bug Pokemon that are running around in this meta a fair bit. And then also we've got Ferrothorn closing it out in the back with a Steel type. Having that Steel type can really give it some advantages that not many Pokemon are able to pick up in this meta. So I think that sort of puts Ferrothorn in a really nice spot. And also having a Steel typing is still able to fight back against like the fighting types of Polyrath, for example, because it does still have that water typing. So with that said, enough pre-ramble, so we'll jump into the battles now and take a look in this round 1 up against FranzGaleana, who is going to be running Polyrath, Noctowl, Drapion, Walrein, Shadow Victreebel, and Ariados. So we'll see if the Shadow Victreebel can reign supreme here. Jumping straight in there, we've got these Zweilous in the lead up against Ariados, which is not really where you want to be because those lunges come out really fast and they are going to be doing super effective damage because of the dark typing. So not an awesome spot. I'm pretty sure you can tank 1 though. Gonna shield up there. I'm realizing now that this video could be a little bit problematic because I only speak English, so I'm gonna have to read between the lines a little bit to figure out what charge moves are being thrown. I'll take a bit more, pay more attention to the animations. We'll see how we go. Let me know if I've got something completely wrong though. But yeah, because you can see that that was super effective, and you saw the debuffing effect afterwards, you can tell that was a lunge though. And so we've burned both shields and are able to Dragon Breath all the way down. So 1 switch advantage, but losing shield advantage, which can be pretty important in this meta. We're seeing Noctowl come in, and if we take a look at Richie's back line, who does have the Dedenne back there, Dedenne is going to be pretty fine. So he's sort of happy to just put on as much damage as he sort of can against this Noctowl from Zweilous. But then, there's no shields, so doesn't really have a choice, but sort of happy to let Zweilous go down, because then going to be able to bring Dedenne in and potentially force out a switch from Franz. Gonna go for a charge move first though. Noctowl does have access to Shadow Ball now ever since the last Go Battle League season. So it definitely is able to do a little bit more to Dedenne than it used to be able to, but we see the swap out into Drapion, and here comes Shadow Polyrath. Definitely a decent matchup for Polyrath, except for the fact that there's still a shield on the opponent's side. So we'll see how this ends up going. I feel like that Drapion might outpace to, oh no, we're actually going to see a second Ice Punch come through. So you could sort of comfortably, gonna let it go. In comes Noctowl. Okay, so you're going to farm down with Noctowl. or tried to farm down with Noctowl, but has to take this Ice Punch. So presumably we see the shield come up here. And it's now just going to be a question of who gets this charge move off. And Dedenne comes out, goes for the fairy move. I feel like the electric might have... I'm assuming that the other move might have been better in that one. But oh, that's actually... I forgot about that completely. Unfortunately, we do only have one battle from round 1, which means we are going to be jumping straight into round 2, where we do have all 3 battles. But yeah, Richie did end up taking out that set of 3 up against FranzGaleana. So GG's there. Jump into game 2 now up against TGNMSS28, who is running the Lucario, Noctowl, Crawdaunt, Drapion, Crustle, and Alolan Raichu. So again, as the way Silph tournaments works, we know them well. As you keep on winning, you face a tougher and tougher and tougher opponents. So it's only going to get more and more hype as this video does go on. But we'll jump in. I'm kind of hoping we might see some Crawdaunt action because it's a pretty interesting one. But we're going to see the Ferrothorn in the lead up against the Drapion. It's sort of an okay matchup for Ferrothorn, except it's not able to do much. Like, you don't really have anything super effective to throw at it, I suppose. But swaps into the Shadow Poliwrath, gets a little bit of energy going, and then burns the shield on the Sludge Bomb again. We saw how much damage that did before, but it lets the opponent swap into Noctowl. So I'm interested to see what Richie's strategy is here. We've gone for the Ice Punch, just to sort of chip this thing down. Noctowl is almost certainly going to be able to win this matchup out. So Richie is going to decide to burn the shield, though. Wants to get more Ice Punches off. Actually, may be able to get to 2 Ice Punches before Noctowl can get to another Sky Attack. So this could put a lot of pressure on TGNMS to potentially burn at least 1 shield, or just have to let this Noctowl go, which Richie certainly would be happy with either way. Gets that last shield out of Noctowl. Oh, was that CMP? Very well might have been. That Noctowl going to take the Poliwrath down now, which means that Dedenne can come out. We see the instant swap into Lucario. Not an awesome spot for Richie, just because they don't really have a counter to it, and like still taking a fair bit of damage to Dedenne, but we've got a fairy move which we can throw. The fact that Lucario is fighting Steel does mean that this is only going to be neutral, I believe. But we'll be able to tank that Power Punch, throw this player off. Wasn't hitting the bubbles there. I'm not sure what was going on Richie's side, but it still is enough to take out Lucario. We've still got that little bit of Noctowl that is hanging around in the back, and then the Drapion as well. So Drapion going to get this discharge off. I'm a little bit worried for Richie here, to say the least, but that does a fair amount of damage. Swaps into Ferrothorn, who again, actually, is going to be able to tank any of Drapion's moves pretty well. And then Noctowl is still in the back, not too much health, and Ferrothorn is running Thunder here. So Thunder is going to be able to obviously take that Noctowl at the health range that it is at, goes for the Power Whip, takes it out, and here comes Noctowl. Could potentially go for the Power Whip here, actually, and that is what we're going to see. I think this probably still is going to be enough, even though we saw, we saw a Crunch debuff before, so that was an attack. So yeah, Richie taking out game 1 up against TGNMSS28. Going into game 2 now, we've got the Ferrothorn into Drapion again. Not instant swapping this time, so Richie may be expecting TGNMS to do something different. Maybe just wasn't super happy with the strategy before, maybe just more comfortable staying in now that he's got a better idea about what this Drapion's moveset is, knowing that it does have that Crunch. And we saw the attempted Crunch, but didn't get the defense debuff. So we land 1 Thunder to bring it down to under half health, which is definitely a nice place to be. Also revealing the Ferrothorn's full moveset now as well. Swap out into Lucario, maybe trying to snipe there and just take the Ferrothorn out, but was able to swap out of there into Dedenne. Going to shield up here in case it is that Shadow Ball, and it was the Shadow Ball, so really nice call. But now has to take on the 2 shields that are over on the opponent's side. Sort of hoping that this does go through, but it does get shielded, which is a little bit unfortunate. Going for the discharge now, maybe trying to get that second shield, or just bring this Lucario down enough so that he can take it out in the back. Does get the shield though. At this point, Poliwrath is looking pretty strong, because Poliwrath is going to be good up against Lucario, going to be good up against Drapion. I mean, again, we saw how much a Sludge Bomb did do, because it is that Shadow Poliwrath who takes that 20% extra damage for the Shadow debuff. Not able to get that charge move off, unfortunately. I think that might have been an overtap. Maybe not expecting to be alive. TGNMS going for the undercharge to get a little bit more energy. Goes for that Power Up Punch. We see the swap out into the Noctowl. This is not looking awesome. for Richie, but still does have a little bit of play. But yeah, these are Ice Punch, not going to be enough. And then I think that Noctowl will just be able to farm all the way down, and then there's that little bit of health. Oh, actually, oh no, okay, tried to get that power whip off that would have actually carried the Noctowl, but yeah, not able to get it off. So that puts us at 1-1 going into this third battle. Both leads being swapped out here. Seeing the Zweilous go into the Noctowl lead now. Again, Dragon Breath damage, really neutral. Really just keeps on packing that punch over and over and over. Just whittles the Pokemon down. Shield up that Sky Attack. I'm not sure if... I guess Zweilous isn't the bulkiest Pokemon, but obviously with Zweilous having the Dark typing, it doesn't care as much about Shadow Ball. So I'm not sure if it's worth shielding Sky Attack. I suppose Richie is putting a lot of emphasis on trying to win switch advantage here, I suppose. Just because the last two battles have sort of shown that that switch is going to be important. So lets that Sky Attack come through, knowing he can tank one. Here comes that Zweilous. Going to get a Body Slam off. This is not going to do much damage, but because it is Lucario, who is pretty squishy, it does an amount. It's better than nothing, right? But in comes the Dedenne. Now that Noctowl has sort of been taken off the table by Zweilous, it's already been KO'd, Dedenne's sort of big target has been removed. So sort of happier to just bring Dedenne in, throw some Discharge spam, get that last shield out of the opponent, and then hopefully gets one more to finish off here. Digital shield up a Power Punch, which is a little bit unfortunate, and here comes Drapion in the back, but we still have the Poliwrath, so going to see a fast swap into Poliwrath, because again, does not want to get hit by 2 Sludge Bombs, because that would be GG's, good night Poliwrath. Maybe even a Crunch Defense Debuff Sludge Bomb would probably be enough to take it out as well. But we're going to see Poliwrath farm a little bit extra here, just before a Drapion can get to another charge move. Richie, knowing his counts, knowing what he can and can't do, goes that Ice Punch, takes out the Drapion, and one more Ice Punch is going to take out the Lucario in the back as well. And that is going to be GG's on round 2. Which is going to bring us into round 3. So boom, boom, change the opponents over. We've got JuanBeckman coming in with Lucario again with a Frostlass pairing, Ludicolo, Beedrill, normal Tyranitar, I mean normal as in not Shadow, non-Shadow Tyranitar, and Drapion, who I have cut off the image it seems over on the right hand side. But I'm very intrigued by Juan's team here. Obviously, again, we're in round 3. We're on an undefeated streak, so Juan is going 2-0 into this matchup up against Richie, again, the number 23 in the world. So I'm sort of, I don't know if there's a lot of room for this Tyranitar to appear, but I hope it does. So we're going to be jumping in here, take a look at what we've got. And of course, we've got the poses going on. But Lucario in the lead up against the Poliwrath. Again, this is a spot where a Poliwrath generally has a little bit of an advantage, although it's still a little bit scary just because that Shadow Ball is going to do a lot of damage to the Shadow Poliwrath. Was just a Power Punch, which is fine. Farmed up a little bit extra, and in came the Frostlass, maybe trying to catch a Dynamic Punch. Is actually going to resist both moves anyway, though, so that Ice Punch not going to do too much damage. He's able to swap into the Roserade now, because it was a relatively fast swap, able to get to this Weather Ball before a charge move comes through, forcing that one shield from JuanBeckman. You can see also that it is a Poison Jab Roserade, so it gets that energy a little bit faster, does a little bit less damage when it comes to the charge move department, as opposed to a Razor Leaf Roserade, for example, which I think is probably the correct moveset, I think, in this meta. Poison Jab, getting those Fire Weather Balls off, able to take Frostlass out just like that. Here comes Lucario and is able to get one more Fire Weather Ball through. That Steel typing is not going to appreciate it at all, so gets that shield. In comes the Poliwrath. Not able to get that Ice Punch off, unfortunately, but not the end of the world. And actually, that's just a Power Punch, so he's going to be able to survive regardless. And I think that this is going to be enough to take the Lucario out, and we'll see. Oh no, it's not, just not. So there's a tiny bit of health in the back. In comes Ludicolo, who is going to have to get hit by an Ice Punch. Those bubbles just not doing as much as a Razor Leaf Ludicolo would as well. But got Walrein in the back, so Walrein is going to be doing a fair amount of damage here. The Ice Gill Spears come out fairly fast with that Powder Snow. Is only neutral because of the grass and water typing. Correctly shields up the Leaf Blade, Energy Ball, grass move from Ludicolo. Gets that Icicle Sphere off. Swaps into the Roserade for the Poison Jab takedown. Here comes Lucario, and it's not going to get a Power Punch off Walrein, taking out the first game. And Poliwrath into the lead again up against Lucario. These guys just staying in with the same lead. So we'll see how it goes this time, if it plays out any differently. Maybe that Lucario is going to go for a Shadow Ball this time. Have to be on your toes. Gets a shield with the Ice Punch again. not actually going to let this come through. So if this is a power up punch, Poliwrath would still be able to get up to another Ice Punch and throw it here, which is exactly what has happened, which is really nice for Richie. Really nice call. Gets that second shield as well, so he's now at the 2-0 shield advantage, which is a pretty good spot to be. This is most likely a Shadow Ball, so definitely nice to shield. Was a Shadow Ball, so really good call there. In comes the Frostlass, so now able to spam out these Fire Weather Balls, knowing that it's actually really just going to be good against the rest of Juan's team, to be completely honest. But in comes the Walrein, just to sort of soak up a potential Avalanche. And save Roserade for that matchup in the back that it is probably more useful for than this Walrein would be. But even a Shadow Ball, Walrein would be able to tank it, but going to shield up. Keep it super healthy, because now, I mean, again, whatever comes in, Walrein's actually going to be able to threaten it a little bit. It's actually the Ludicolo again, so charges up to almost 2 Icicle Spears, throws the first one, again, neutral damage, but still does a fairly chunky amount, and this second one, I think it's going to barely survive, but then it's going to be on its last legs. Oh, swaps back into the Roserade, catches the Leaf Storm. It's one of those grass moves. That seems Leaf Stormy, maybe, I'm not sure, but still. CMP ties on the Fire Weather Ball, so Roserade is not going to get that off, but, oh, it is going to get it off. That poison typing is indeed resisting counter, and then, yeah, it's pretty much GG's here. That Walrein is going to finish it off with 1 Powder Snow and takes out JuanBeckman in game 3. Oh, that's the other thing I forgot to mention. We do actually, they only played the 2 battles. So after that battle, JuanBeckman backed out, forfeited the last round, and I believe exited the tournament as well. But it does mean that now we are going into the sort of the back 4 of the tournament, and this back 4 is where it gets absolutely stacked as all heck. So we're going to be going up against Sawyer98 in round 4, and Sawyer98 is currently number 4 in the world on the Silph Arena leaderboard. So Sawyer has got some pretty serious stocks coming in from Costa Rica, I believe. So this is definitely going to be a pretty hype battle. Sawyer is running that Quagsire as the fighting role, bringing in the Noctowl again as the anti-fighter, and then is bringing in the Roserade, the Walrein, Galvantula, and Shadow Drapion as well. So interested to see how this is going to go with a Shadow Drapion, because Drapion definitely looks pretty decent up against Richie's team as a whole. We've sort of seen it come in and again. It's a relatively safe Pokemon, but that Shadow is going to change the dynamics just a little bit, so we'll see how it does change going into the matchup. We've got Walrein Mirror in the lead. Okay, so these two are not going to be doing much damage to each other at all. We see the instant swap from Sawyer into Galvantula, which is interesting. I suppose trying to get an energy advantage, because this wild safe swap, well, it's not a safe swap at all, because Lunge is going to be super effective there. So there's 1 discharge, 2 discharges, and is now going to be able to throw another Lunge. So again, Dragon Breath. Richie knows his timings. He knows his counts. Is able to throw the Body Slam right at the right time. Looks like that was actually not CMP, because 1 more Dragon Breath got through after, so I guess the tap didn't go through, but is able to hang on with a sliver of HP, 1 HP in a dream, gets 1 last Body Slam off and forces that Galvantula down, which is absolutely perfect for Richie, because it means that Sawyer has brought that Walrein in, able to bring in Poliwrath in. Here comes a Roserade from the other side, which actually spells a little bit of trouble for Richie, because he does have 2 water types left, but they've both got some ice damage. That Ice Punch did an absolute train wreck's worth of damage with that Shadow bonus as well. Happy to let this Walrein just get hit, because Poliwrath is sort of the more important Pokemon in the back, I think. But goes straight for the Earthquake, because again, there is still 1 shield on Sawyer's side, and Richie kind of just wants to burn that thing, so does get it burned away. At this point, Walrein is eventually going to have to throw a move against this Walrein. Is not going to have enough for 2 Earthquakes, so sort of has to throw this one. Not going to have enough for another Earthquake, so needs to farm up. Poliwrath still has a shield though, so they can't have enough for an Icicle Spear and an Earthquake either. Went straight for the Earthquake. Unfortunately, it did get shielded and has the Dynamic Punch here ready to throw, which is going to do an absolute buttload of damage. Goodbye, Walrein, and that is GG's on game 1. But Poliwrath was not done with you, Walrein. It's round 2, but swaps out again really quick into that Galvantula, and again another quick swap into the Zualis. We'll see if the matchup plays out the same way, because I feel like it won't. We'll see how it goes this time though. Farms up to the 3rd discharge, throws the Body Slam again, I think perfectly timed. I'm assuming that this would be a CMP tie though. Oh, just lets Galvantula go. Wants to keep the shield advantage. I respect it. I guess, I mean, probably assumes that Richie is running the double water strat again. So maybe sort of keeping those shields for a potential Rose Raid in the back. It could do a lot of work there. We'll see, we'll just have to wait and see, though. We're all speculating at this point, but that is part of the battle. Gets that last shield from Walrein, but Walrein has now got 1,000 million energy farmed up from that full farm down. Poliwrath comes in, I think, is able to tank an Earthquake from Walrein. Yeah, actually pretty handily catches that one. Gonna get an Ice Punch off still up against this Rose Raid, which, as we saw before, does a truckload of damage. Does get that last shield, so now we see the swap into Walrein. Not going to be able to get to an Icicle Sphere before there's the threat of the Leaf Storm, so does end up shielding up here. Not a Leaf Storm, but still nice to keep Walrein a little bit healthy when there is still that other Walrein in the back. So that Icicle Spear takes it out. Walrein, Earthquake from Walrein wouldn't be enough. So this Icicle Spear is going to be enough. Takes out the opposing Walrein, and that is going to seal the deal on round 4. But we still have game 3. And for the rest of the tournament, we do have all 3 battles. So there shouldn't be any more confusion from my end. Sorry about the missing battles. But again, we're seeing these... I think these 2 battles are really just set on, this is my swap for this matchup. Sawyer really trying to make Galvantula work, but it's sort of like... It's getting in a, not a great spot, but not an awful spot. I guess Galvantula is good up against literally all 3 of Richie's team. Good against Wireless with the lunge. Good against the other 2 with the... oh my... Richie, absolute legendary, surviving on 1 HP again, goes for the body slam and forces a shield out of Sawyer, is able to bring Walrein in and Powder Snow all the way down, has lot switch advantage, but has the energy advantage now, swapped into the Poliwrath. We actually see a swap out from Sawyer, no longer bringing in the Rose Raid and bringing in the Noctowl, which is definitely a nice move on Sawyer's part. It's going to make it a little bit handy for this matchup up against Poliwrath, because Noctowl can actually tank 2 Ice Punches, as opposed to Rose Raid only being able to tank 1. It sort of puts Noctowl in a bit more of a position to put a little bit more threat, I suppose, onto Richie. So this Sky Attack just going to let it come through. In comes the Walrein though, and going to go straight for the Icicle Spear. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a shield there, but yeah, just going to let Noctowl go. Brings in the Walrein. I believe that Richie's Walrein still has the energy advantage. Gets the shield with the Icicle Spear, which is huge, and hoping that it is an Icicle Spear coming back. And it is not. It is the Earthquakes. That does do a lot of damage. Richie is going to get to another Earthquake before Sawyer can get to an Icicle Spear, but I have a feeling that this may be Sawyer's game to win back. Even with the shield, it is not going to need it. Oh, are we going to see a 1 H... Oh, no. I thought we were going to see a 1 HP damage through a shield, but we are not going to see that. Instead, Richie was just going to let his Warren go. But GG's nonetheless, taking that round out 2-1 again up against Sawyer, who is number 4 in the world right now. And we are now going to round 5 up against Benja Pro 0205, who is definitely a pro because, once again, Benja Pro is number 13th on the Silph Arena leaderboards at the moment. So this is just stack to stack to stack to stack. This is like it's an elite run for the rest of the tournament, essentially. It already was in the last round. But we can see Benja's team there, who's got the Poliwrath, the Noctowl again, actually coming back as a really solid combo that seems to just keep on coming out. And again, I said earlier in the video that Poliwrath sort of had a big spike when the medal was first revealed, as the one sort of everyone seemed to be using in the practice tournaments. And then it sort of fell off a little bit. People sort of moved towards some other fighters. They moved more towards like the Quagsires a little bit. But we're sort of seeing Poliwrath make a really big resurgence here and doing really well as well. Obviously, Richie's running it on his team, which is doing fantastic so far. But when all of these elite battlers are thinking about using Poliwrath, maybe something worth thinking about. But regardless, also running that Noctowl, Drapion, Crustle, Galvantula, and Malamar. So I would not be surprised to see Galvantula coming out again, because it is definitely doing, it stands up pretty well up against Richie's team. But we'll jump into the battles. Really nice lead with the Dene into Poliwrath. So you see the swap out into Galvantula, which is actually still a really strong matchup for Dene. But Richie is deciding to keep the Dene for the Poliwrath later on. Is going to get this wireless sort of used and out of the way. I sort of use that terminology a lot, sort of like using the Pokemon, like, because you're sort of, if you're sort of using up your health bar, the amount of damage you can take in a better position than having this wireless stuck up against a Poliwrath that presumably knows Ice Punch as well. So is going to have to throw this Body Slam again to try and force this Galvantula down or get that last second shield. Does just let Galvantula go for the shield advantage. Here comes that Poliwrath, who we can only assume in this meta is going to be running that Ice Punch. So it's just going to be a question of how much Benjapro wants to over-farm, because with the 2 lunges that have come through from Galvantula, this Wireless isn't actually doing a lot of damage with its charge moves. It's really just the Dragon Breath bringing it right down. I think that's actually a Dynamic Punch? I'm not sure what move that was, but it wasn't an Ice Punch, that's for sure. I'm not sure, but it didn't take it out. I'm assuming it was an Undercharge though, to get a little bit more energy on the Drapion. We see some mad swaps going on, and we've ended up with Richie's Shadow Poliwrath up against the Drapion. Shadow Sludge Bomb will hurt. We've seen this again and again and again. It is not where Poliwrath really wants to be, but farms up to 2 Ice Punches. I don't think Poliwrath can get to an Ice Punch plus a Dynamic Punch before Drapion could take it out, so decides to go for the 2 Ice Punches, which wouldn't have taken Drapion out, but I think potentially with the Mud Shots it might have. But this is going to take Poliwrath out, and then it's going to be down to the Dedenne in the back, who is almost at a discharge. This is going to take out the Drapion. Have we seen the Pokemon in the back? It's Noctowl, isn't it? Oh no, it is the Poliwrath. Okay, no, it's Poliwrath. Yeah, so he's going to be able to tank this move. That was an Ice Punch. Could see the little ice specks going on. Going to be able to tank another one, and I think that Dedenne will then be able to get to a discharge. This will take out the Poliwrath, and this is going to be GG's on a game 1 of round 5. I should really have like a round ticker somewhere on the screen. Maybe next video. Subscribe, by the way, because something. But as I said before, Dedenne versus Galvantula is actually still a really good matchup for Dedenne. Doesn't really care about Galvantula's moves, and has the access to Play Rough, which Galvantula does care about. So he gets 1 shield. Seeing Galvantula over farm here, maybe going to throw a lunge and dip and keep the energy for later on. Did go for the lunge there. I can only assume. One day I'll become bilingual. But gonna go for the discharge now. Doesn't quite take it out, and because Volt Switch is such a long move, able to get one Thunder Shock through, get the player off to bring that Galvantula right down, and is now presumably gonna bring in the. Could actually go either way. Brings in the Roserade, so gonna try and Poison Jab down. We'll have to burn 1 shield here, and then could kind of go either way. Could either finish it off with his Wireless or to stay in with the debuffed Roserade. Interestingly, Ben just swaps out into the Drapion, so switch locking themselves, which lets Richie swap into this Wireless, which is in a pretty decent spot now. Again, Sludge Bomb is a scary move, but this Wireless is going to pack on the damage really fast. Ooh, actually going to let this go instead of going for the... Oh, it was just a crunch. Survives. Even with the defense debuff, going to get a Body Slam off. Not going to get a second one off, unfortunately, just because of that defense debuff. The Poison Stings will just do barely too much. Decides that he has to throw the Fire Weather Ball here to not get Sludge Bombed by this Drapion. Still a shield in play, and it's Crustle on the back. So unfortunately, GG's to Roserade, unless this Leaf Storm lands. If this Leaf Storm lands, I think that it may actually swing the tide back in Ricky's favor. Oh, okay. It would have been cool to see, but there was no reason for Benja to not shield that. So good identification from Benja's side, and it does put us at 1-1 going into the final battle of round 5. Crustle in a pretty decent spot up against Wireless. Is a Smackdown Crustle, so not as fast and spammy as dangerous as a Fury Cutter Crustle would be to his Wireless. But still, you can see it's packing on the hurt pretty significantly. So does a Dark Pulse though from Wireless. Oh my gosh. Able to take out a Bug type as Wireless. That is truly incredible. Eventually coming out though. At this point, I think you sort of have to bring out the Dedenne. You can't really bring Poliwrath into this matchup. I know that technically you have Mud Shot, which is a super effective move. That is just not how the world works. 1 lunge coming through here. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a second lunge coming through from Galvantula before maybe a swap out, but it very much depends what's in the back. We see 1 shield get picked up from the discharge bait. Really nice bait from Richie's side. A little bit of mutual lag there. Okay, that doesn't change much at all. He's going to get this player off though, and Galvantula actually got another Volt Switch through after that charge move as well. So not awesome for Richie. Maybe it caught up there. I'm really not sure. Lag is hecky. Can just cancel lag. That's my my suggestion. But regardless, going to see 1 more player come through, which I think, even though we've been lunged a million trillion times, Nope, it is not going to be quite enough to take it out. Galvantula barely hanging on in the back. In comes the Poliwrath again. You sort of need to get this out here as soon as you can so that Drapion isn't able to double Sludge Bomb you or go for the Crunch defense debuff, then Sludge Bomb. No matter what this move this is, Poliwrath is going to survive, is going to be able to farm down this Drapion, and then there is going to be that tiny little bit of Galvantula left. Does have a charge move, but this is actually okay, because this is going to take Poliwrath out. Dedenne is going to come in and going to be able to shun the Thunder Shock down at that Galvantula before Volt Switch would be able to do enough damage. So that is GG's, taking out round 5 in pretty close fashion with a 2-1. But the stakes just get higher and higher. We are now going into round 6 up against Yerkoski. Yerkoski, a battler who I'm sure many of you who have been around the Silph scene are very familiar with. Very, I was going to say famous battler, and I think that probably is correct. Yerkoski, really a well-known battler from Chile. Number 8 in the world right now on the Silph Arena leaderboards. So doing really well and definitely a worthy opponent for Richie here. Going to be running the Quagsire Noctowl pair again. Noctowl showing a lot of it's just appearing a lot, is what I'm trying to say. Interestingly, Yerkoski has brought some Pokemon that we haven't seen yet, specifically Credilli and Trash Wormadam. So those two Pokemon are really interesting. Credilli in particular, there's nothing on Richie's team that loves to be in the Credilli matchup. Ferrothorn is probably the closest to sort of being happy in it, but all of the other Pokemon still take a fair amount of damage from it. Trash Wormadam, a little bit interesting. Definitely does put on a fair bit of hurt onto the Shadow Poliwrath because Confusion does a lot. We've got a Poison type in Roserade, which is also going to take a lot of damage. But then you've got things like Swallows that are being used. I guess you've got Bug Buzz as well, so that's also super effective damage. You've got a potential Iron Head that can do super effective to Walrein Ice typing. So there is actually a fair bit of some interesting Pokemon here. So interested to see how this is going to go. And again, has the Shadow Drapion as well. So we'll hop right in. We've got the Dedenne in the lead up against Noctowl. Definitely a really happy start for Richie. We see an instant swap into Trash Wormadam, which lets Richie bring the Zweilous out. Zweilous is not going to care about this Confusion, as we said before, but is only going to be scared of the potential Bug Buzz. So it goes for the Dark Pulse, but does get a shield from Yerkoski. Burns a shield here because doesn't want to get Bug Buzzed. That did not look super effective, so I think that might have been an Iron Head bait. Not going to get to another Dark Pulse before Wormadam can get to a Bug Buzz, I believe. So may have to risk burning a shield here. It does burn the shield, and I think that was another Iron Head bait, which is either really good plays from Yerkoski, or Yerkoski doesn't actually have Bug Buzz. Or I'm not sure what other move you would run on Trash Wormadam. But we see the swap out into Shadow Drapion. Still going to take a lot of damage from this Zweilous, who is just a neutral damage fiend. No more shields left on the battlefield. Presumably a Sludge Bomb here, which I think might barely take Zweilous out. So we see Zweilous. We see Walrein come back in, knowing that sort of both Pokemon that Richie has left are going to be good against that Noctowl that is just waiting in the back. There is a full health Noctowl and a tiny little bit of health on the Trash Wormadam. So I suppose using up the Walrein now sort of just makes sure that you are going to be able to take the Wormadam out, if that is what comes in. Going to bring the Noctowl in, so we see a swap into Dedenne. Going to overfarm here, just in case there was an attempted catch on the Wormadam. Richie knew that that was Yerkoski's sort of only win condition, catching a discharge. Even then, it would have been really tight, and I'm not sure if Yerkoski would have been able to do it. But regardless, Richie knew what was up, held on, stayed calm, and kept going and threw that charge move on the Noctowl in the end. So taking out game 1. Got Poliwrath into the Walrein lead again, pretty decent for Richie. See the swap it into Drapion, and I sort of feel like this is an okay place to stay. I guess Richie doesn't really have like a great answer to Walrein in the back, because Zweilous is a terrible answer. Do not use Zweilous up against it. I guess you've just got the Walrein mirror match. So going to try and put on a lot of hurt with this Poliwrath first up. Burn some shields. Actually gets both shields and is now able to swap into Walrein, while this Drapion, I think, is still switch locked here. Yeah, it would be, because Richie started it. Yeah. So gets the defense debuff on the crunch, which is a little bit unfortunate, but not the end of the world by any means. Almost taking out that Drapion. Yerkoski liking to hang on to those little bits of HP just in case he can get a catch later on in the game. We'll see if he does is able to do that this time around. Gets the Earthquake off onto the Trash Wormadam. It does go through. Is only neutral. And then I guess at this point you bring out the Zweilous again. Do we see a third Iron Head bait from Yerkoski, or do we finally see a Bug Buzz? That's a Bug Buzz, which does an absolute ton of damage, which is really unfortunate for Richie. Gets this Body Slam off that is going to take out that Trash Wormadam. Oh no, it's Steel typing. Does not care about normal very much. So in comes that Walrein again. Still a shield up on Richie's side. Able to outpace to this Dynamic Punch, which again, with the Shadow bonus, the 20% Shadow bonus, does an absolute load to that Walrein. Is able to Mudshot down. Here comes Dragon in the back, and Richie, by the skin of his teeth, mind you, taking out that game 2, which means we're going into game 3 of round 6 for the glory. Seeing the swap out into Walrein up against this Drapion. Yerkoski not in a terrible spot this time around, as long as he doesn't get hit by that Earthquake. Gonna see the swap out into Trash Wormadam. So this is not awesome for Richie. We saw how much damage this did before, about half-ish, a little bit under half. And then this Wormadam is actually gonna be able to farm all the way down, I think. Okay, no, got a little bit too scared there. Actually, I think one more confusion might have. Walrein could maybe have gotten to the charge move before the damage registered potentially, but regardless, we see his wireless come out here, not throwing any charge moves, just Richie happy to burn one shield, and then I think we'll be able to Dragon Breath all the way down. While it's just an Iron Head bait though, Richie has not made a single correct call on that Trash Wormadam's move. Yerkoski playing all sorts of mind games onto Richie here, but regardless, gonna see that Body Slam and get a shield out of the Walrein, swap into Ferrothorn. Here comes that Drapion again, who is not going to appreciate getting hit by a Thunder. Is still a shield on Yerkoski's side, but I feel like you might just leave that for the Walrein in the back. It was Walrein in the back. Gets that crunch off, did not get a defense debuff, which I think Yerkoski was really hoping for. Does get another charge move off before the Power Whip. A crunch won't take this out. It may have, if he got the defense debuff that time, if he got the defense debuff on the first one, that actually may have been enough to take the Ferrothorn out. Undercharge the move there to get 2 extra Bullet Seeds of damage, brings in this wireless onto the Walrein, throws the Dark Pulse straight away, just trying to get this damage onto this Walrein as soon and as fast as possible. Still a shield on both sides, and I'm sort of interested. I guess Yerkoski thought that it was just going to be a Body Slam bait, but now sort of has to shield because Walrein is just getting too low. Gonna shield here on Richie's side, and we'll just have to, it's gonna be a race whether Dragon Breaths can take this thing down. No, we've got the back-to-back. Does Ferrothorn have anything to do here? Is it going to be able to pull this out? Can it get to... Oh my gosh, with the 2 Bullet Seeds that it got, because of the... This is only because of the undercharge. If Richie did not undercharge beforehand, did not get those 2 extra Bullet Seeds, he would not have been able to get to that Power Whip. Walrein would have taken Ferrothorn out, and Yerkoski would have taken out that last battle. It still would have been 2-1 to Richie, but Richie taking out the full 3-0 there, which does bring us to the final battle of this absolutely stacked tournament against the one, the only Rise to Occasion, who is presently, after this tournament, the #1 in the world on the Silph leaderboards. So Richie definitely, you know, still number 23 in the world, so Richie knows a thing or two about Pokemon Go PvP. But these two are definitely going to be fighting it out, and oh my, I'm in love with Rise to Occasion right now, because he's running Charizard as the anti-fighter slot. I have not seen a single Charizard in action yet, and so this is going to be my first opportunity, so I'm really looking forward to hopefully seeing what it can do. Hopefully he's not going to be too scared of like a Scold on Poliwrath, because I'll tell you right now, Rise, Richie doesn't have Scold, it's just Ice Punch, Dynamic Punch. But hopefully we see some Charizard action, because that would be a lot of fun. But either way, we'll jump into it, and Rise to Occasion, of course, we all know, has a YouTube channel as well that I do recommend you check out. Does do some Silph content from time to time that I'm always tuning in for. And GBL, of course, if that is what you're into, but gets a really solid lead up against Rise to Occasion with the Ferrothorn into Quagsire. Again, we see another person using Galvantula as a safe swap up against Richie's team, which does look like a pretty good safe swap, because Richie doesn't really have a solid counter here, but does have these Fire Weather Balls to throw. Poison Jab's doing a fair amount of damage as well, actually. So that is enough to take that Galvantula out, just going down the shield advantage for the switch advantage. Here comes that Quagsire again, who is going to have to throw a move if he doesn't want to get hit by this Leaf Storm. Richie over farming, as per usual, knows his counts. And if this goes through, which it does not, that would have been absolutely devastating for Rise to Occasion. But it's sort of a case where, like, even taking this Roserade out, Ferrothorn's still back there. So Ferrothorn's just going to come out now. An Earthquake won't one-hit KO. So charges up some energy on the Quagsire. Swaps into this Wireless, who again is sort of in a case where Ferrothorn doesn't have anything to super threaten as well. It's like it doesn't really have any big, hefty, super effective moves. But Rise does end up shielding the Dark Pulse. We see a Power Whip come through here, is resisted. That is all good. Gonna presumably just, I guess he farm up to another Dark Pulse on this Wireless. Gonna shield up that time. Maybe in case it was like a Thunder, or I guess maybe just wanting to keep Wireless a little bit healthier. Again, counting, throws the Dark Pulse after a few extra Dragon Breaths. Not quite taken out. Swaps into the Ferrothorn at the exact right moment to catch this move from Quagsire. It is the Earthquake, and now this Ferrothorn is going to be able to throw this Power Whip. You probably don't even hit any bubbles, and this Quagsire is going to go down. And then coming back in the back, we've got that Ferrothorn who is barely hanging on to life, and this Power Whip will finish it off, which means Richie is now 1 game away from getting a 7-0 sweep against some absolutely top tier battlers, and it is Charizard time. Not where Charizard wants to be though. Richie getting a lot of really nice leads here, but swap out into Walrein is also interesting because it's a case where Dedenne is still a good Pokemon. Maybe Rise is hoping that Richie sort of keeps his Dedenne in this matchup and leaves Charizard a little bit more safe later on, because there's nothing else that threatens Charizard in the same way that this Dedenne does, especially because that Poliwrath doesn't have Scald, which Rise doesn't know, but he may guess based on this sort of meta. Not too many Scald running Poliwraths that I've seen so far. Burning the shield on this Dedenne, because I think Richie does want to keep sort of switch advantage here. Maybe thinks that, I mean, Rise doesn't really have a great answer to Dedenne either. Like, I suppose Quagsire, but it takes so long to get to those Earthquakes that has the Ferrothorn's actually a pretty decent answer. We see a swap into Wireless. I think that's Wing Attack Charizard. I think. I'm not sure. It could be Air Slash. I think it's Wing Attack though. Maybe it is Air Slash. I don't know. I don't know Pokemon. Who gave me a YouTube channel? But goes for the Body Slam, gets that shield out of Charizard, and is not going to get to another. Oh no, is going to get to another one before Dragon Claw comes through. Interesting. This Charizard going to go down because Charizard is just too squishy. Ferrothorn comes in, not going to care about Body Slam, so has to go all the way for the Dark Pulse. Rise to Occasion accounting nicely there, and now going for the move to make sure that he doesn't get hit by the Dark Pulse. I'm not sure why Richie didn't go for the move, because I think he overcharged. But regardless, brings the Roserade in. This Fire Wither Ball is going to do super duper duper effective damage because of the Steel Grass. And, oh wait, I thought there was still a Pokemon in the back. Sorry, anticlimactic casting from me, but that is GG's, and Richie has indeed gone 7-0, but Rise still has a chance to redeem himself, get a 2-1 regardless in this final round as the #1 battler in the world. This is Wireless up against Galvantula. We've seen this time and time again in this tournament. I think lots of people, me included, would be scared to be in this matchup, this Wireless versus Galvantula, but Richie is confident. Richie goes, hey, I know lunges are scary, but it's all good. Stay calm, shield off the lunge. You're going to be able to Dragon Breath down, put on a lot of pressure with some Body Slams onto that Galvantula, and it's going to go all good. But regardless, we see the Quagsire come back out, going to eat that Dark Pulse, swap into Ferrothorn, presumably to try and catch the move there. But either way, even an Earthquake, not going to be the end of the world for this Ferrothorn. Brings it down below half health, and I don't think that, I think you need to go double Earthquake. I don't think that Earthquake Stone Edge is enough. I could be wrong. I'm not wrong this time. But yeah, Bullet Seed's down, has a charge move ready to go. Here's Galvantula coming in the back. This Power Whip, is it going to be enough? It is going to be enough. Galvantula goes down. Here comes Wireless coming out in the back from Rise. This Power Whip is going to be resisted. Not going to do too much damage, but we've still got a full health Roserade and some Dragon Breaths from Wireless here. This isn't like GG's though, because Rise to Occasion also still has a shield. These Poison Jabs are doing a lot of damage. Get this Fire Weather Ball off, which is presumably going to get that last shield out of Rise. Rise may be farming up the energy here. Maybe going to go for one Body Slam to take Roserade out here, and is going to hope that he can get to another one to take out Richie's. Does get to the charge move, and I think that this is going to be enough. I think that this charge move is going to be oh, it isn't enough. And Richie gets the CMP, loses the CMP tie, but still hangs on with just enough health to get that Body Slam off and finish off Rise to Occasion's Wireless to take out this tournament 7-0. So absolutely incredible performance from Richie1409. Again, has taken on some absolute Goliaths in the PvP scene. Again, if you're around, you probably recognized a bunch of those names as well. So seriously, huge shout out to Richie. And I have sort of jumped right in to recording this video. But yeah, I'm going to leave a link to Richie's Twitter account in the description down below. So do check that out. Go give him a follow over there, because he is definitely going to be putting out some pretty good he's going to be putting out some good results. This is not the end of the show for Richie at all. And I'm really looking forward to see Richie as he sort of goes into the regionals period, potentially gets into continentals as well, fights his way into worlds potentially. But that's a long way away still. We've still got some months to go. But with that said, thank you all for watching, and thank you so much to Richie for sharing the battles. Again, I am going to be doing the Factions quarterfinal stream on this channel in a couple days time. So subscribe if you haven't already for that, as well as the Silph Arena Showdown next weekend, who Richie is actually also going to be invited to. So we'll see if Richie ends up participating in this one and fights for that guaranteed Continentals invitation. But yeah, with all of that said, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one. Thank you to all of my patrons and supporters over on Twitch for being lovely human beings. And yeah, if you want to check out another 7-round win, it wasn't a 7-0 win, but it was a 7-round win. So if you want to check that out, that's over there with another team with some Tentacruel action, which is definitely a pretty fun one. Or if you just want to watch whatever video I've put here, that's also a thing you can do. But subscribe. Okay. Bye now. Thanks, Richie. Okay.